So let's look at that. The role that doubt plays in faith. So first of all, let's just define faith. Hebrews 11, New Testament book, gives us a great definition. It says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Pretty simple definition from the NIV, Hebrews 11. Doubt. Doubt is not the rejection of belief, but holding a belief with hesitation and uncertainty. Doubt involves believing something with questions about whether or not it is really true. So who thinks that, in general, they know a lot? That they're a pretty knowledgeable person? All the youngest ones, of course. You think you know a lot? Okay. Who thinks that they know a lot, but they were just pretending to be humble, and so they kept their hand down? Mark, I knew there'd be at least one person, but I didn't think it'd be you. Who thinks that they know more than the person sitting next to them knows? All right, so about half of you. Okay. Well, in 2017, there is a study. There was a study done by the Barna Group on Christians and doubt. And they learned a few interesting things. Number one, they learned about 2/3 of Christians experience doubt in their life. So about 2 out of 3 of us, and I'm kind of surprised it was that low. Maybe some people felt a little bit awkward and like, oh, no, I've never experienced doubt before. And so they said no, but at least 2 out of 3 Christians experience doubts about their faith over the course of their life. And also that men are more likely to experience doubt than women. Number 2, Christians who had doubts and questions and who worked through those doubts and questions, they were less likely to turn the back on their faith than the people who did not express those doubts or questions. You with me so far? So the people who expressed, hey, I kind of have a hard time understanding this. Can we talk about this? They're the ones more likely to keep their faith, to not walk away as they got older. Number 3, the Christians who have a strong community of believers around them, so people in church, people at a youth group, people in Bible study, people with like real Christian friends, not just friends who are like, yeah, I'm Christian, but they don't really live a God-honoring life. People who had good people around them, they were much more likely to work through their doubts and their questions than the people who did not. And then lastly, the 4th big thing that they learned is that with every generation, starting from like the boomers to the Gen X, the millennials, Gen Z, and what's the next one? Alpha? Gen Alpha? Something like that. Of course, they're the alphas. Less and less people have a strong community of believers around them. And you can see why that's dangerous, right? Because it's the people who express their doubts and questions with the strong community of people around them. They're the ones who are likely to grow stronger in their faith. And the people without any of those things, those are the ones who are more likely to walk away as they get older. You see, spiritual relationships, they provide both emotional and spiritual strongholds so that when you feel like you're under pressure, they can just help carry the load, right? Because that's what we do as Christian friends. We talk about this in Bible study sometimes. We talk about it in church. We are all here just to help each other carry the load of life. And Jesus helps us carry the load. A few more things about doubt. Doubt is normal. It's a normal part of the faith. It's not anything you should ever feel ashamed of. It's not anything you should ever feel guilty over as well. Questions can lead to understanding. And that can lead to a more mature or a deeper faith. Doubts can be a growing pain. Like the pain you get in your legs whenever you grew and never really had them too much. Matthias has them every day, probably. Growing pains. Doubts can be a growing pain of your faith in the sense that rather than just have blind acceptance, oh, I believe this because, well, that's what I've just always believed, or that's what my parents or my grandparents or my cousins believe, so it must be true, but you actually, for yourself, you work through the Bible and what it says and come to an understanding of it. That's the difference between, oh, I believe Jesus resurrected because the Bible says so, and saying, I believe Jesus resurrected because there were guards to stop thieves from coming to the tomb, because over 500 people are said to have saw him, both in the Bible and extra sources outside of the Bible, because Jesus ate food on several occasions with the disciples, so he wasn't like a Star Wars Force ghost or anything like that, but he was like a real resurrected human being. That's the difference. You see the difference there? Oh, I think I forgot one. And doubt Doubt can be a time to experience God, his patience and his love and his grace as you work through things. So doubt is not just a hindrance. It's not like a barrier in your spiritual walk by itself. What you do can become an obstacle, but doubt, question, wonder is not in and of itself a barrier in your spiritual walk. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're still with me, say, huh? One more time. All right, you're still with me. All right, one more thing. Belief. Belief does not require absolute certainty. Like I believe my wife loves me. I also believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers football team will make the playoffs this year. But I am much more certain my wife loves me than I am that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make the football playoffs this year. Like, I believe both to be true, but I am much more certain about one over the other. You see what I'm saying? So belief does not mean you have absolute certainty, because you can believe on different levels.